A single breath escapes you, and in its fragile echo lies a truth you've long avoided. The world spins on, a relentless machine, grinding down the edges of your quiet resolve, while exalting those who thrive in its clamor. You've stood at the edge of your own life, peering into an abyss that doesn't whisper back. Every step you've taken, every sacrifice carved from your core, feels swallowed by a tide that doesn't pause to mourn what's lost. There's a weight in your chest, not from failure, but from the unspoken question that gnaws at your stillness. What if the fire you've buried, the one you've dimmed to fit the shadows of others, holds the key to a life you've only dared to dream? We're told the world is a stage, but no one mentions the script is written in a language we don't speak. You've played your part, memorizing lines of humility and patience, only to find the audience applauding a different play. The powerful don't stumble into their thrones. They build them, brick by unseen brick, while you've been busy polishing stones for a foundation that never rises. Their strength isn't louder words or sharper claws. It's the way they bend chaos into a shape that serves them. You've felt it, haven't you? The moment your kindness was mistaken for weakness, a gift taken without a glance of gratitude. It's not your heart that betrays you. It's the expectation that the world mirrors its rhythm. Look back at the times you've spilled yourself freely, words and deeds laid bare like offerings on an altar. How often did they return as echoes of value, and how often as ashes scattered by hands that didn't care to hold them? The ancients understood a secret we've dressed up in modern lies. Survival isn't a reward for virtue alone. They sharpened their souls not against stone, but against the jagged edges of a reality that spares no one. Picture a river cutting through rock, not with force but with persistence, tracing a path no one can undo. You've been the water, flowing where the world wills, but what if you chose the direction instead? There's a stillness in you, a quiet that others mistake for absence. Beneath it lies a current, coiled and waiting, ready to surge when you decide its course. You've watched others rise, their steps steady, while yours falter under the weight of doubt. Their secret isn't brilliance or luck, it's the courage to claim the space they stand in unapologetically. Think of the last time you held back, not from fear but from a flicker of instinct that said, "Not yet." Didn't the room tilt slightly? Didn't the air hum with the unspoken power of what you didn't give? Words are a currency you've spent too freely, hoping they'd buy you a seat at a table that's already full. The ones who command don't shout, they whisper, and the world leans in to catch what they withhold. You've been taught that transparency is a virtue, that laying your soul bare earns you a bond. But how many times has that openness returned as a shadow, twisting into something you didn't intend? Imagine someone you can't forget, not the loudest voice, but the one whose presence lingers like smoke after a flame. They don't demand attention, they summon it, a gravitational pull born from what they choose not to reveal. Your worth has been a reflection in someone else's mirror, a fragile thing shaped by hands that don't know you. What if you shattered that glass, building a frame that forces them to see you as you are? Unpredictability isn't chaos, it's a shield, a cloak that keeps the world guessing. When they can't chart your next move, they pause, and in that pause, you rewrite the rules. Recall a moment you let anger spill, a torrent that left you empty while others watched unmoved. Who held the power then? The one who burned, or the one who stood steady, letting the storm pass? Strength isn't the noise you make. It's the silence you keep when everything begs you to break. The unshaken carry a gravity that bends the moment to their will, a force no shout can match. You've chased belonging, molding yourself to fit frames that pinch and bruise. What if you stepped away, letting your absence carve a void that demands to be filled? We're wired to crave what slips beyond our fingers, to dismiss what's handed without a fight. Be the spark that dances just out of reach and watch how they strain to catch its light. How many times have you poured your soul into a cup, only to see it tipped over by indifference? It's not your depth that's lacking. It's the belief that overflowing earns you reverence when rarity does. Patience isn't surrender. It's the hunter's craft, a stillness that tracks the pulse of opportunity. You've rushed toward outcomes breathless when waiting might have drawn them to your door. The ones who shape the world don't chase every thread. They weave their own, deliberate and sure. Their moves echo because they strike when the moment is heavy with possibility. You've been a feather in the storm, carried by winds you didn't summon. What if you became the gust, turning the currents to whisper your name? This isn't about shedding your essence for a mask of steel. It's about fusing your warmth with a resolve that doesn't bend. A harmony only the fearless can strike, a balance that holds the world at bay. History doesn't bow to the timid. It bends to those who stand apart, crafting their story with hands that know when to hold and when to let go. You're not a footnote. You're a chapter waiting to be written. You've lived as if the world owes you its grace, a promise it never made. Let go of that weight and you'll find a freedom in shaping what lies within your reach. Small choices ripple, a steady gaze where others falter, a word unspoken that lands like thunder. You've been a whisper in the roar. Now be the silence that drowns it out. You're not here to fade, a thread lost in the weave of someone else's tapestry. You're here to stitch a mark that time can't unravel, a presence that defies the pull of oblivion. This spark in you isn't a gift from the world. It's a flame you've carried waiting to be fanned. Let it flicker out and you'll drift back to the margins. Let it blaze, and you'll redraw the edges of what's possible. The world doesn't offer its truths on a platter. You have to seize them, clawing them from the chaos with every step you dare. Each choice is a stone in the path from who you've been to who you might become. What separates the forgotten from the indelible isn't fate. It's the will to wield your own nature, jagged and raw, as a tool of your making. You've hovered between fading and rising, a breath held too long. So tell me, what will you do with this ember glowing in your hands, this power that's always been yours, waiting for you to claim it?